And welcome back. Delighted to be joined now by Miles Moreau from Kick organization out of San Diego. Nice to see you, Miles.
Good to see you, Trevor.
Yeah. So we talked last year about this new product release. You've got this thermal analysis system software.
Yeah.
Tell me, bring me up to speed with what's been happening with the rollout of that and the customer acceptance.
Yeah, it was kind of a big change for our profiling platform to go from just profiling software and some of the features and capabilities to help our customers to, we're trying to kind of lift it to the next level of what it gives for them, right? Thermal analysis. So a whole system of hardware and software that helps them with their manufacturing. So we rolled it out the end of October in 2024 and had a couple new feature sets that implemented some further AI, artificial intelligence capability in our predictive models. And so far the customer kind of acceptance of the new software and migrating from our old software has been great.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so can we have a look at some of the information you got on it?
Yeah, we have a screen that shows kind of the software is set up so it's more like a browser experience. More and more, that's what people are familiar with. It makes it easier to get around and learn. And like I said, you know, in this case here, we have a screen where actually as they're running a profile, they can have information of, if they need to, where they attach the TCs, an actual photo of the board. And then the software will give them that first guess for NPI of what they should set their oven to. So before they even run the board through, through our predictive model and looking at historical data, we're able to give them the settings and reduce the time it takes them for NPI. And that's just kind of the starter of this platform, one of the areas where we're introducing or have introduced AI.
Well, I mean, the first thing I look at here is it looks very clean. I love the clean layout of the screen here. It's very intuitive, obviously showing you where you can attach the thermocouples. So do they attach these thermocouples and it gets the original or the initial recipe? They run it and then the system tightens it down to a tighter profile, or? Yeah,
exactly. So it starts. It gives that first guess. You put information of what solder paste you're using, what the specifics are of your process window. It gives you that first guess. You validate the profile, and then based on your manufacturing requirements, because you don't want to just say, just give me a recipe that's in spec, because it could be anywhere in the process window. You want it to be robust, or depending on what type of manufacturing you're doing, you may want a different recipe. And that's where in the video we have, it kind of shows that what the predictive software the AI has. So rather than just say, give me a recipe, it's give me a recipe that meets my manufacturing requirements. So if I'm trying to do some high reliability like medical or aerospace, I want a quality profile to minimize, get in the middle of the process window as best as possible. So the best possible solder joints. So that's one search engine that looks for that. If I'm a high volume manufacturer, I want a good in-spec profile, but I want to increase my conveyor speed, my cycle time. Or reduce my cycle time, and then get more throughput. In Europe now, especially with the energy prices they are, now we can search for recipes that reduce the heat and the power consumption. And then our latest model with the TAS software is finding a common recipe among different assemblies. So now their changeover time is reduced, and they have more, you know, their OEE is much better, their equipment utilization.
I mean, that's where a lot of the time is lost, is in ramping up the oven temperature or ramping it down. You know, it just takes time. So if you can get a more common recipe.
Exactly. And in the past, profiling has been kind of more a pain, right? It's a task. Well, we have to do something just to check the profile. But now we look at it as, you know, implementing these predictive models and recipe search is now you can actually make that match the rest of your manufacturing. So don't just give me a recipe, give me a recipe that meets my needs.
Yeah.
If you're spending, which most companies do, is driven around the pick and place and minimizing the changeover. They have a $500,000 machine, all this software to say, use these component racks and these products and run it today, and then you have to wait 30 to 40 minutes because the oven is taking a long time to change over. Well, you've wasted all that efficiency.
Yeah.
When you're changing over the oven. So that's just another use case for us to say, okay, how can we apply, our prediction and this AI technology to help the customer out in those situations.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's a great addition to your suite of software and helping customers to optimize and maximize what they're getting out their ovens. So it's really good. So I'm excited for you. It looks like it's starting to get a good rollout.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, especially when you have technology like this, is now one of the kind of expertise that Kick has too is developing new ways of sensing. So being able to capture other types of data and then include that into our predictive models, into our search engine. So now we can take other variables in the process and help improve in other ways for the customer. So this next year, we're planning on ramping out some more capability in different applications. And when I say applications, I mean thermal process. So, or different processes on the manufacturing floor, not just mainly focusing on reflow, but wave solder. Selective solder is where we're looking, we'll have some more solutions with vapor phase, even with reflow, some of the things we can do with other aspects on the exhaust or the fan speeds and different things where the customer can be really ensured of that process and the soldering, which is a main part of that they're doing it right in the way they need to.
Okay, that's great. So let me ask you, I mean, how are you employing AI in this process to really optimize it?
It's kind of a combination of a couple things. So we use a lot of the data that our systems collect, historical data, and then through our predictive algorithm, we can kind of learn from that data to anticipate or know what the setting should be, for example. The other thing we can do is by looking at the historical data of a bunch of different products. The other aspect is not just the prediction, but if you predict and you come up with a good recipe, that's fine. And that's kind of what the old school way of doing it was. But it was trial and error. You ran it through. So how do we leverage AI or some type of algorithm in the search mode, not just the predictive mode, because there's tens of thousands of recipes on the oven, or millions actually, when you think of the combinations, degree by degree, with the conveyor speed differences. So which of those million recipes is the right one? So just like on Google, when you type in a term, they're like, how many millions of websites does that term apply to? But somehow Google is able to find ones that will help you and are relevant to you. So that is the same thing. We have this predictive model, and then we have to do a good job of searching on those predictions to say, hey, this is the most relevant recipe for you. That's our search, not a web page, it's a recipe. So that, and then the more data we can incorporate into that, then the system becomes smarter and smarter.
And of course, it ends up, self-teaching itself.
Yes. And then regardless of your oven, the system starts to learn about it and get better and better.
Great. Well, looks like you're on the right path with it, Miles. It's an exciting product, and I want to thank you for coming in and telling us about it today.
All right. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.